Yo, what's going on guys? HyperX here. Welcome back to another video for Eastward, and today I want to talk about my impressions. I've had a chance to go hands-on with the game for about just shy of 5 hours now. The awesome guys over at Chucklefish very kindly gave me access to the game, but what I have access to is a demo build, so it only allows me to play the first 2 chapters, but regardless, that still gives you a great feel for the game. Obviously, I haven't been able to experience the full breadth of it. I haven't experienced the whole story, haven't even got all the items. However, given that I can't go any further until the game unlocks, I thought today I would just sit down and talk about my initial impressions, because already I am loving this game. Honestly, I can't stop thinking about it, and I am itching for the game to unlock tomorrow so I can carry on my playthrough. So, if you guys do enjoy this video, a like would be super appreciated, and comment down below and let me know what you guys think of this. I won't talk anything about the story. I mean, admittedly, I haven't really encountered anything that could be deemed a spoiler just yet, because I'm still super early in the game, but regardless, I'm not going to spoil anything for you. I kind of just want to talk about the overarching experience. Because honestly, the second you boot up this game, I said this in yesterday's gameplay part 1, but this game has so much charm. Literally, from the moment I booted it up, you have the nicely animated intro movie, then you get into the game and you have this incredible pixel art style, all the characters, the world, everything about it just looks fantastic. I was immediately drawn in. This is one of those games where even when you just see screenshots, it looks so cool, but when you see it moving, the living, breathing world, it is so cool. The vibrant colors and the soundtrack. This game has some incredible music. I can see myself listening to the Eastward soundtrack just when I'm not playing the game, because I love some of this music. So yeah, right off the bat, it ticks so many boxes. And I like these kinds of games, right? I'm a huge Zelda fan. I've said this time and time again. Zelda is my #1 favorite franchise. And this game is like Zelda meets Earthbound meets Last of Us. I say Last of Us because obviously in the game, you play as John and Sam. So it's kind of like Joel and Ellie. But it's more so a Zelda Earthbound. There's definitely a lot of influences with that. And the first thing that kind of jumps out as well is that it's just a world you want to explore. This is one of those things where some games, I jump in and I kind of just sort of follow the golden line. In this one, I want to speak to everyone. I find myself going off the beaten track if I see someone down there just because I want to see what they have to say. Some of the characters have some really funny, quirky dialogue, so it's actually worth sort of taking the time to do that. You'll also find some little Easter eggs. I even found Miyazaki in the town. And even when you walk through some of the actual locations or some of the sort of different segments in the city, you'll find different shops, you'll find bars, and even those, they're brimming with personality. You go inside the shops and you want to see what the shopkeepers have to sell, and sometimes it's basic items, other time it's, upgrades, bag expansions, new items, new gear. There's lots of cool stuff to collect, but more importantly, the game also rewards you for exploring, because there's lots of these little red treasure chests hidden around the world. So if you do take the time to go off the beaten track and, go the quote-unquote wrong way for a little bit, you'll invariably find a chest which will then give you some resources which you can then use later on as the currency in the game. So this game is definitely something you want to explore. And there's even stuff to do in the downtime as well. If you're not doing the main story stuff, you can even go and do some mini games. There is a game in the game called Earthborn, and it's basically a turn-based RPG. You get a little memory card later in the game, and you can then go into this game and you can play through the adventure. I haven't finished that one. I sort of went through a few encounters. I've started to build up a team, and I will then return to it later on. So quite where that goes, quite how that sort of pans out, quite whether you get something for completing it, I don't yet know, but that is also a nice little addition. Now when it comes to gameplay itself, gameplay feels fantastic in this game. It is nothing hugely in-depth or hugely groundbreaking, it is just nice, solid gameplay. If you guys have played handheld Zelda games before, the sort of top-down, work through the dungeon, swing your sword, use your items, that's the kind of feel for it. So while it's nothing new, it feels polished, it feels fantastic. You have your equivalent of a sword, which is a frying pan. You go around beating enemies with the frying pan. Later on, I have got to the point where I've now encountered a gun. I know from the trailers, obviously there are other items, they're like a flamethrower, a cog launcher. So there's obviously new items to acquire. The game also does have a crafting component, but I wasn't exposed to that in the time that I've had playing. I sort of met the person that does the crafting, but currently I haven't been able to explore that yet, but I have been collecting crafting materials, so I'm interested to sort of see where that goes later on. But either way, there's lots more items to unlock, and of course those then factor into not only when you're fighting enemies, but also when you're solving puzzles as you're sort of going through in true like Zelda fashion. There's like these dungeon areas, and then when you're exploring them, there's a nice mix of battling enemies and also solving little sort of puzzles. And of course, the cool thing about this game is that it combines the 2 characters. So obviously you play as John, who has the frying pan, has the gun, and generally speaking he is the sort of a combat specialist. Then you have Sam, who has these sort of psychokinetic abilities. She can then use these powers on different objects, so when you're going through some of the later levels, there will be parts where you're switching roles. Sometimes you travel together, other times you can completely split and take different pathways. So that's also a nice, interesting dynamic to both combat and also just exploration in general. So that much I do really enjoy. And then of course, once you get to the end of the dungeon, in typical sort of a RPG fashion, there are some boss battles, and they also lead into some of the mechanics, typically some of the new items you get, so you'll use those to dispatch some of the enemies. I'll only show a couple of the ones that are sort of like super early on, because these ones we've also seen sort of like segments of them in the trailers and stuff, but safe to say, these are the super like early bosses. There'll be plenty more exciting stuff to look forward to later on in the game. So yeah, gameplay is fantastic. Outside of that, there are of course also some additional side activities which are fantastic. Firstly, this game has a gashapon machine. I love gashapon machines. Anytime I go to Japan, I waste so much money just collecting things from those. And when they're in video games, I really like it. And this one, you collect some coins as you go throughout the game, and you can then use that to get some little figures. I will say I don't currently know what these are used for, whether they are just for collection, whether they have a later sort of use in the game. I haven't quite discovered that just yet, but I do enjoy collecting them. And then you have cooking. This is very sort of Breath of the Wild style, even down to the point where when you look at the items, they have red and yellow hearts. So there's definitely an obvious inspiration there, but cooking is just cool. Obviously you collect different sort of items as you're going around, you can buy different ingredients, and then when you go to do the cooking, not only is there a fun little slot machine, but it also has a fantastic tune. Just listen to this. I mean, that's just a happy tune. But for the time being, that's kind of all I have to say right now. Honestly, at this stage, I don't really have any negatives. I've only played for about 4.5 hours, and I have loved every moment. I haven't encountered anything that has been annoying. I haven't encountered any sort of like bugs or anything like that. It's just been a nice experience. Obviously, whether that changes once I play the full game will remain to be seen, but if the first 4 hours are an indication for what the rest of the game is like, then I know I'm going to enjoy this experience. So that's it for the time being. That is what I think of the game so far based on my demo hands-on. I will be doing some more videos once I have a chance to jump in tomorrow when the game fully unlocks. It of course launches tomorrow for Switch and PC, so if you guys want to check it out, then definitely do so. And yeah, keep it locked because I will be doing some more videos, so if you are excited for Eastward, then you're in the right place. If you want to catch more from us at HyperX Gaming, don't forget you can catch the guys TwoSixNine and Paradise Central streaming over on Twitch weekdays, playing a variety of games. If you guys want to jump in, tune in, watch, and even join in, then make sure you check them out. The links to those are in the description box down below, and of course you can join the Discord to get involved in all of the discussions.